Okay, all right. So this is what is going to happen. So we've been encouraging people to to engage with our social media platforms. Thanks. We've been encouraging delegates. Sorry. Right. Okay. Order, comrades, order, comrades. Okay, thank you. All right. We've been encouraging people to interact on our social media platforms, and some people are doing that, but I think some people are not doing it the right way. We're really going to encourage you, when you do engage on the social media platforms, can you please tag UJ Library? Can you please tag, whether it's on LinkedIn, whether it's on X or Instagram, please tag and put a line. If you engage and you just put a picture, then we're not having the engagement taking place on that platform. And remember, the hashtag is UJ Library International Conference. So, we've got an incentive this afternoon. Some of you might have heard that there's a gala dinner tonight, right? And not everybody made it to that dinner. But the good news is there are a few extra tickets that are available. And someone has whispered in my ear that we should be able to give out maybe 2 or 3 of those with your +1 if you're lucky. Yeah, so if you've got a +1 on campus, right? Even if you're from out of town, you can always text them, they can come and join you. Yeah. That's how generous we are. Yeah. So So we've got about 3 or 4 tickets +1, if you can find a +1 to come with tonight, right? And those tickets are going to be given to people who are engaging on our platforms. And engagement is just what I've described. Tag, follow, post, and interact on our platforms. How's that? Siyavana? Are we together? Siyavana? Savannah? What is it? Siyavana, Savannah? Savannah. Perfect. All right. Good. So we will be able to give out those tickets later after the following session. So now I'm going to introduce Adam Berry. Adam Berry and Dr. Kirsten Kraus. And they are going to be talking to us. Adam Berry is a development manager for technology from Sage Tales and Lean Library, and Dr. Kirsten Kraus, who's virtually joining us this afternoon, is a research advisor at WWIS, also known as Worldwide Information Services. Let's give them a big round of applause. There he is.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I just would like to say thank you very much for having me. This is my first time in South Africa, and for 4 years speaking with my colleagues at UJ. It's nice to to meet people in real life. I'm joined by Kirsten. Thank you very much. We're going to talk a little bit about the importance and the role of the library in the epicenter of AI, but also how can we guide and navigate students through this minefield as well. So I'm going to hand you over to Kirsten, who's going to start with this slide. Can you confirm that you can see that for me, Kirsten?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Fantastic. Thanks, Adam. Yeah, we swap places now, you in my country and I'm close to your country. So yes, I just wanted to add a few thoughts, based on what I presented on earlier, and maybe some of the other, presentations. Speaking specifically to a need for LibGuides, or what I would call AI-ready LibGuides. A big one, and I'm specifically focusing on the academic writing side of things. I'm quite sure you guys could add, let's say, LibGuides around education resources. I'm specifically looking at the academic writing side. So top corner, my suggestion is, and it kind of relates to skills as well. But what we need is a guidance on doing AI guided lit reviews ethically. One of the concerns that I have with many of these AI tools, and I know there were many of those mentioned, is that we don't know exactly what the databases look like behind it. They're kind of vague sometimes as to what data, and resources feed those databases. Also, what I suggest is maybe we could work on LibGuides for doing AI supported lit reviews. You need the traditional scientific rigor, but then AI has its benefits. And there's a lot we can say about that. There's a lot of literature and training maybe, and then avoidance strategies. I briefly mentioned avoidance strategies, but there's so much AI generated content. There's paper mills, there's retracted research, plagiarism, there's predatory journals. And so part of a lit review strategy should include how do you avoid questionable science in the process. So that talks to the top left. Top right is about ethics guidance in using these tools. There's some similarities. You have a lot of AI-driven tools, but in some cases we actually need guidance on specific tools. So maybe we can work on some LibGuides around that. Actually, what I found to be useful is if you find an interesting tool, you do a search and see if you can find a LibGuide for that tool. It means typically that tool has been tested or evaluated by somebody out there in the world. Then AI ethics and authorship resources, it will be useful to have resources on that, LibGuide on that, mentioning all these statements on AI authorship. And then discipline-specific sources, AI tools, maybe engineering's got specific tools that play into. Interesting one would be using AI to optimize analytics or data analysis and statistical techniques. But all of these speak to different types of LibGuides that can be useful to support the research community. Next slide, Adam. So just some of the things that Worldwide Information Services can do. I do some of those workshops, but there's also colleagues of mine that can assist with that. On the left-hand side, there's a workshop on AI and academic writing that really speaks to the, how quality scientific argumentation can really still be core, and AI is really only supportive or complementary to this. There's a workshop on topic discovery, topic development. There's a workshop on AI-driven tools for second language writers. And then a tool for optimizing statistical analysis for using artificial intelligence. If there's tool-specific training, WIS can assist with, exploring whatever specific tool and assist with training around that and possibly a LibGuide. On the services side, it's more the consulting. It's about developing and maintaining LibGuides. Sometimes libraries just don't have the time and expertise. And, it could even be about developing or, reviewing that. We could assist with building AI ethics repositories, assist with AI ethics and academic writing guidance and cases specifically, developing AI use cases and examples. And there it's more towards the education side, undergraduate and not just the academic writing. I had a few requests in the past where there's a need for refining AI policies. That policies are there, but AI is such a fast-moving target, that those policies actually need to remain on par. In fact, in terms of the tools, I've identified a few LibGuides talking to specific tools, but what I've realized is these tools evolve at a tremendous pace, and those LibGuides need to be updated. And then I just had an interesting conversation about detection strategies, for AI-generated content. So WIS, through our connections, could assist with some of those services. There's just a few items there. Thank you, Adam.
That's something that we agreed this year, so we're very excited to see how that partnership develops. Okay. Not very often in the publishing world we give something for free, no? But there's a Sage Campus course called The Art of ChatGPT Interactions from Dr. Leo Lowe from New Mexico University. please scan the QR code. This is a free AI course on prompt engineering. You can use it for yourself. You can share it with students. It's free. Please make good use of it. Scan the QR code. If you cannot access it, please come and see me, and we'll get you on using that. And when you've completed the course, you also get a certificate as well. So that's a free course. Is it okay? The QR. Really? Oh, wow. Okay. I'll share the link with you afterwards, okay? I'll send you the Sage Campus link. Sorry about that. This is all great. Perfect. So maybe the library has even created some training on the guidance around AI, but the major problem is where do users find that? The library website, the discovery layer, Sage directly, social media, Instagram, Twitter, X, Instagram, from their peers, Google, their reading list, their VLE. You get the point, no? So many different places to access information these days. And hey, I've now found the resource, but now I can't access it either. So that's another level of frustration with so many different access points, even when the user finds the content outside of the library. The best place for any student or researcher to be is at the library website. We've said this since day one at Lean Library and Technology from Sage, but I'll share some data in a moment to show you that students and researchers have other preferences when they're starting their discovery. So these are findings that are taken from our first research report published in 2021. And on the right-hand side, if you take your eyes to the right, we asked, where do patrons begin discovery? So students start 28% on the search engine, most likely to be Google, and then the library's 26% and Google Scholar 24%. It's kind of reverse for faculty. They use Google Scholar more, and then the library, and then the search engine. And one of our services, Lean Library, we've analyzed the data from our system to find out how many times, for all the people who've used Lean Library, 48% of them went via Google Scholar. So that just causes massive headaches for people, access issues, lack of usage for the library, and yeah, frustrations from an end user point of view. Then we asked in our second report, how do you find resources for your assignments and studies? 63% said I Google stuff. So you might do this yourself. As librarians, you might go to Google as well. I think that if you come to the cocktail later on, there's some slides I'll share, which kind of amplifies this point. But why is that? Why are so many people going to Google instead of going to the library website, speaking to the experts? Well, we've taken a little snippet from the right-hand side from one of our reports, and Google is so simple. It's ingrained in our society. It's ingrained in our mentality. When I was coming to Joburg, I go to Google for the hotel. I go to Google to find the restaurants. It's just this instant reflex that we have. And if you compare that to the library discovery layer, Google is much more simple. So what this person from faculty has actually said, they go to Google, find the journal, then go to the library website or the discovery layer, right? So even librarians and teachers are going to Google and Google Scholar. So what happens when we Google free ChatGPT training? Imagine this was a student now. Where do we even start? Just goes on and on and on. And let's Google AI tools for literature review. You can see I've taken these slides when the European elections were going on because Google is the... So again, so much information. Now, if I can ask you a question, does this pose a unique opportunity for the library? Can the library help users who are going to Google or Google Scholar? Well, definitely they can, and UJ has been doing that for many, many years, and we're super grateful for that. So let me show you what we can do, all right? So if a user goes to ChatGPT, this example is OpenAI, we present a notification to say, actually, your library has created some guidelines, some training resources for you. In this instance, you've got the Sage Campus course. So when a user goes directly to ChatGPT or any AI tool, using Lean Library, you can embed any resource to help that user at the point of need. Because millennials and Gen Z, we want things at the point of need, no? That's the way that we do things like. So yeah, you can see that somebody's gone to OpenAI, and we've presented a guide to say, hey, if you want to become better at prompt engineering, please take this free course. So librarians really need to think like students. They really need to, and the difference between the mindset of Gen Z and millennials compared to librarians, and I think Yanina, who used to work at UJ, made a very good point, so I'm just going to regurgitate some of her information later on at the cocktail dinner. But imagine when a user goes to Google and they search for free ChatGPT training, you can embed whatever resources you want directly at that point. So instead of saying to users, hey, access this from the library website, no. You can access it directly from Google, from a Google search result, or put it directly into ChatGPT. So if users need help, they don't have to leave their workflow. That's the whole point of it. And then another way that we can help actually is creating keyword matches. So using Lean Library again, if somebody searches for ChatGPT, we highlight that word to say, hey, actually the library has content around this. Please click here to access it. So we've taken them away from that minefield of how many results it was going on and on and on to say, actually a library has created some content for you. Now, if I'm a student, am I going to trust Google or am I going to trust my library? If my library pops up with a university branding, oh, thank you. It's reputable content that I can trust. So I know I'm going to trust my library. This is the massive advantage of this. Now, again, another snippet from our reports. Where librarians currently provide communication at the point of need. So if you look to the right, the Library Discovery Service is by far the greatest. Research databases, LMS, reading list, and other. Other 16%. I don't know what other contains, but it probably is Google. But search engines, things like this. So librarians are not really communicating with users at their most favorite place, at their most favorable starting points. And we asked, would patrons actually want the library to communicate at the point of need? 55% of students said yes, and 60% of faculty said yes. And the question is, do people even want, do students and patrons want the library embedded in their workflow? 82% of librarians definitely would, and 88%, even more, patrons would want it compared to librarians. So what does this all mean anyway? It's very abstract at the moment, isn't it? But if you're spending a lot of time, energy, and money creating resources, then you want to get maximum usage, you want to get maximum return on investment. This is from a university in England, the University of East Anglia, and then on the right-hand side, the university, Utah State University. So when they've used Lean Library and integrated their LibGuides directly into user workflows, Utah State saw an increase of 450% in usage. So it's really getting the content and getting the resources in front of the eyes of the students. Any questions? I've tried my best to rush through so we can catch up on some time. If you've got any questions, that would be great.
Maybe if I stand, I think it sounds better if I'm standing. Okay. My from CUT in Free State. I want to know more about the course you mentioned that we need to attend. So how long does it take, and do we get any certification after that?
For the embedding the content into the workflow? The Sage Campus, you mean? Yes. Yeah, so there's no cost associated with you, so you can just, if the university has access to Sage Campus already, they just go via the usual routes and then they'd be able to access the free training. If not, the user would need to create a personal account to access the training. But that can be accessed within 5 minutes, actually. Okay. You're welcome. Yes.
So I was recently I was just trying to go about it, and I noticed my university was not listed. How do we go about it? I want my university to be listed so that I can now accessing e-resources via that line.
Yeah, good question. So there's different subscriptions. We have a free version of Lean Library, which people can download now and access open access information. There's 30, 40 million articles in there. To get the enhanced service, which we make connections to the library holdings, that's an additional service. So that would be why the reason why your university is not in the list. If you look for something called Lean Library Open, then you get the open access part free of charge, okay? One more at the back, I think.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay, hopefully I'm audible. So my question, I'm taking you back to what Pelisa asked earlier. Actually, we want to find out about the course that you projected a QR code that we needed to scan. So that was the course that she was asking about, to say if you can unpack it for us.
Yeah.
And then also tell us, are we going to get certificates at the end, and how long
Yeah, okay.
is the course?
I will send you the links afterwards. I'll find a way to try to disseminate that across the group. Yeah, I think I've got everybody's email address anyway, so I can send it out afterwards, no problem. Once you've completed the course, you get the certificate right away and it's available for you all the time then. Okay. We're good? Perfect. Thank you.